What's happening, party people? Taylor here, coming to you from Maui, Hawaii, land of love, land of beachside resorts. It's winter here right now, so the humpback whales are in season. If you look closely, you maybe see one out there. All jumping around, flopping around, doing what humpback whales do. Nice to be here in the nice, beautiful sun. A little vacation, a little time off. Yeah, good to be with you all. Let's jump in the action. See what we got going.
All right, so here we go. We sit down here at the 2-3 table, bicycle, local joint in Los Angeles, California. 1 year anniversary of COVID. Sitting down firsthand here, Jack 9 of hearts. I go ahead and raise to 11. We get 2 callers, the button and the small blind. I am in the cutoff, so we're going 3 ways to the flop. The flop comes down. Deuce 7-10 with 2 spades. Decent flop for me with some backdoor and gut shot equity. I go ahead and standard c-bet to $15. But once I do so, the button raises to 45. Small blind fulls, and I call. Turn comes heads up, 5 of clubs. Total brick, I check, planning to fold or shove, depending on the button's action. It's OMC type player. He shoves pretty quickly. I put him squarely on queens, kings, aces. Didn't get the best price, even though I could hope for the 8. Potentially a queen. I think for a little bit and decide reluctantly to let this one go. Live to see and fight another day. Next hand, looking down at pocket 3s of the diamond and heart variety. Straddle's on. I go ahead and just call for 6, considering my out of position undergun +1. But everyone else calls. Common low 6 for 7 ways. The flop. Jack, 2 5s, 2 hearts. Paired board, but 3-3, not great. Checks to me. I bet 15. Hoping to induce some value. Shoves. Not a chance I'm calling this. I go ahead and fold. Player can easily have Jack 5 suited. Drips. You never know with these limped pots at these low stakes games. I consider it pretty much an easy fold for me. Hand didn't play out. Going on. Next hand, looking down at Queen Jack offsuit. We're on the button. I go ahead and elect to raise up to $12. I realize that this is probably a mistake. Probably should have bet higher on a hand that doesn't flop terribly well, especially when the flop comes down 3-4 king. All spades. Check to see, make sure I at least have 1 spade. So not terrible. Checks all the way around. I standard kind of c-bet to $22, hoping to thin the field a little bit. We'll see what it looks like a turn. Turn comes a 6 of spades, so really not great. Anyone could have the ace of spades, but I fire again, hoping to induce a little bit of value. If no ace of spades, I have the nuts. Show my queen. He says I was good, and I take it down. Next hand, looking down at 10-3 of clubs. We are in the low jack. It's a limp pot. I go ahead and join in just to see a flop. We're going a mighty 6 ways, but the flop comes down. 2 10s and a queen rainbow. Nice when the poker gods shine down on you. Checks to me. I throw out a tiny little bet of $12. Keep some folks in the pot. 2 callers. Turn comes a jack of hearts. Ace king gets there, but unless like super slow playing ace king, not changing really anything. All things considered, a good turn card. Checks to me. I throw out $52, hoping to induce a shove. Villain had about $150 left in her stack, which she indeed does. So she shoves. I make the pretty easy call, unless she's like squarely on 10 queen, then I'm pretty much screwed. A queen on the river. She shows a 10. I show down. So we're going to chop this one up. She actually shows 10-8 offsuit. One of my favorite hands. I really like the hand 10-8 off. Next hand, looking down at ace-9 offsuit. Usually don't play this hand, but again, another limp pot. Lots of limp pots here. I go ahead and play just to see a flop. Flop comes 6-4-5, 2 spades. Flop some backdoor equity and a gut shot. I go ahead and pot says bad $12. Get some callers behind. Turn is a 5 of spades. I go ahead and check with the paired board, although I now have the backdoor to the nuts. Person behind me, we're 4 ways at this point. under the gun type player, bets 40 bucks, folds around to me. I probably could have called. Hindsight, I probably should have called, but I decided to let this one go, not wanting to gamble with the river not being a spade there. So let him take this one down. Next hand, a fun one. We are in the hijack, looking down at 7-3, suited of the diamond variety. I usually don't play this many limp pots, but it's a pretty limp-happy table. So I just got to limp in, go along for the ride, see a flop. 4 ways the flop comes 7-3-6 rainbow. Again, nice when the poker gods shine down on you and use the luck box out. Middle position thought was a bet of $20. This is great. I happily continue with top and bottom pair. And we are still going 4 ways with everyone call into the turn. Turn comes 10 of diamonds, which doesn't really change much. Could be some good for me if he has like some random 10x. But it checks to me. And wanting to protect my hand a little bit from any dangerous, perhaps potential river card, but it's full rainbow at this point, so I go ahead and throw out bet of $47. Disguise range, that being a 10 or perhaps a slow played set. Folds around, we'll get 1 caller, so we're going to the river. River comes a 4 of hearts, which is not really great because a 5 pretty much makes a straight. But again, checks to me. I throw out a bet of $30 for thin value. Villain makes the call. Show it down, and we are good. I thought I probably got on for a little bit more value on the river. This guy liked to call pretty call happy. But I thought I played this hand decently well. Let me know what you think. I should have played that any differently. But nice to take this one down. Next hand in the big blind, about 590 in my stack. Jack 7 of hearts. I raise to 11. There are 3 callers, so we are going 4 ways. 2 se flopperoonie. Flop comes down, 10 deuce 6, all hearts with a jack high flush. Not bad. Checking to make sure I still have the hearts still there. Checks to me. I throw out a bet of $16. Probably could have sized a little higher to half pot, but get 1 person to call. Turn is not great. 5 of hearts. So now queen, king, ace of hearts has the nuts. So I go ahead and check, given that all I have is a marginal bluff catcher. Villain shoves. I call knowing that I'm beat, but I'll call for the extra $81. 10 of clubs on the river. He shows the ace of hearts. So we suck out. Recommendation, even when you know you're beat, don't make the call. Usually not worth the extra cash, just to see that, in fact, yes, you are beat. Next hand, looking down at ace, jack, offsuit. Out of the gun, I go ahead and raise it up to $12. Don't want to bloat a pot out of position with a hand that doesn't always flop decently well, but 4 callers. 5 ways the flop. Flop comes ace, 10, 8, rainbow. Nice to make top pair, decent kicker. I go ahead and standard c-bet to about $21. But everybody makes the call. Not exactly what I wanted, so we're still 5 ways the turn. Turn comes 7 of hearts. Dangerous, not great with some of the open enders now. Straight draws and gutter balls getting there. Undergun +1 bets for $50. Folds a small blind who ends up shoving for $300. Tough spot for me. At this point, all I have is a bluff catcher. Could easily rep in a set straight. I tank for a little bit, thinking about what other things these players could have in their range. But ultimately, I don't want to risk it, don't want to gamble. Even if I, could make a jack or another ace on the river, not worth the gamble, so I ended up letting it go. After the hand, the villain who shoved all in ends up saying that he had turned 2 pair. So I'm not sure if it was ace 7, 10 7, 8 7. But nice hand. Good bet. Next time, I'm looking down at ace king of clubs in the small blind. I love when ace king is suited, but really hate when it flops terribly. Clubs are my favorite suit. Usually hit my flushes with clubs. Middle position raises to 8. Button calls. Not enough for me. I 3-bet to $20. Disguise my range a little bit to keep some folks in the pot. Middle position and button calls. We are going 3 ways to the flop. Flop comes 6 king deuce, 2 spades. So make top pair, top kicker. 1 club, so some backdoor equity. I go ahead and c-bet to $21. Middle position thinks for a second, makes the call, and the button lets it go. So now we are heads up to the turn. With $105 in the pot comes the Queen of Spades. Not a great turn card. This player could definitely have a draw, and it got there. Probably should have bet a little bit higher on the flop. He still has, and when he throws out a bet of $85, I think he has me beat. Mistake of a hand, I let it go. Live to see another day. How should I play that hand differently? Please let me know, because I think I played that not the best. Last hand, Jack King suited of the spade variety on ce button. I go ahead and raise it up to $15. And small blind through low jack call, so we're going 5 ways to the flop, which comes jack and 2 5s with 2 diamonds, so make top pair, top kicker on a paired board. Good looking flop overall. Small blind, played with before, pretty loose passive, immediately throws out 50. I put her on jacks, or ace jack. Folds to me. I have a pretty standard call. Raise would be dumb. Force her to play well. Only continue that with hands that have me crushed. So I go ahead and make the call for $50. Heads into the turn, which comes ace of clubs. Really not great, especially if she has ace jack, which I'm still kind of putting her on ace jack. Maybe queen jack. And maybe jacks. That's kind of where I'm kind of capping her range. But she throws out another bet of $50. And when players like this continue with the same bet sizing, they could be trying to disguise their range, trying to force me to either, raise them. I go ahead and just make the call 50 more, hoping to see a good river. River, I get bailed out with the king of clubs. I didn't put this player on a draw, given her bet sizing. But on the king of clubs river, she immediately throws out again another bet for $50. And I decide to make the call just to see what she has. She ends up showing, indeed, queen jack. So my kicker plays. I guess she didn't have 2 pair. A pair of jacks with the queen. Missed the 10. It's nice to take it down with this 2 pair. Pretty decently sized pot of the session. Shortly after this hand, I stopped filming. And unfortunately for me, the session did not end up so great.
What's up, party people? Taylor here. Currently it is 4:29 p.m. Los Angeles local time. Session, I was just thinking about my walk over here. About a 5-hour session. The last 2 of which I probably could have just done without. I could just kind of tell at least for me, the deck was a little bit cold. Pretty card dead. Only took down like 3 pots, maybe 4 in like 2 hours, and they're just kind of meager small pots. None of my bluffs really went through in those last 2 hours. Got some new players, and they were pretty sticky. When I had some made hands, they just came in, and one of them was like king 7 off, river trips over my like 2 pair. I think the takeaway from this session is to kind of the old cliche, quit while you're ahead. I think I nursed this session. I kind of overstayed my welcome for this session. I think I could have felt out the vibe a little bit. Tendencies of the other players, and I was adjusting, I was adapting as much as possible, but still I was just getting outplayed. All of my suited connectors just never hit. I would have ace-8 spades, flop would come 10-4, jack, like all clubs. I'd have like king 9 of diamonds, and it would come like 3-6 queen, rainbow or something like that. And so none of my suited connectors, which I usually love to play, flopped nicely. Yeah, so I should kind of quit when I was ahead the first 3 hours, but good learning lesson there. So ultimately, 5-hour session, in for 400. Bought in for another bullet, another 100, about halfway through the session, and at that point I probably should have just pieced out. But yeah, I'm out for a big fat goose egg. Thanks for checking it out. Smash that like button. Subscribe. Put me into stratosphere, the YouTube algorithm.